Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Shukrit and I'm a student at NIT, and this channel is basically me figuring things out loud so you don't have to figure it out the hard way alone. So here's this feeling nobody warns you about before you join BTech, and even I had this feeling. You spend 2 years, sometimes more, taking a drop and grinding for JEE, doing physics, chemistry, math at 6 a.m. and math problems you solved so many times your hand basically knew the steps before your brain did. And then you get into BTech and somebody says, cool, now open VS Code and write a function or a loop. And you just freeze. Because this is not that. This is nothing like JEE preparation. Coding is different. And today I want to talk about exactly why this transition from JEE to coding feels so hard, and more importantly, what I'm actually doing to fix it. No sugarcoating, just what I've noticed and what's working with me. Why it feels so hard. Let's start with the honest part. In JEE, there was always a formula, a fixed method for a problem. You saw the problem, you matched it to a pattern you would have practiced 100 times before, and you solved it. There was comfort in that. Even a hard question had a type which I've solved before. Coding doesn't work like that. There's no fixed formula for build a login page or why is my code throwing this error. Sometimes the answer is one line. Sometimes it's complete different way of thinking or different way of approach. And the whole problem in the beginning, that unpredictability messes with your head because your brain is trained to look for pattern, and here half of the time there isn't one yet. And then there's the second thing, the language itself. You open a tutorial and they are talking about variables, loops, functions, syntax, error, compiler this, framework that, and you're sitting there thinking, bro, I don't even know what half these words mean. Forget solving the problem. You're not just slow. That's just nobody told you that coding has its own language like any language. You don't start with poetry, start with basic words while you're learning it. Here's how you can fix this problem. Start with a simple language like HTML or Python. So here's the first thing that actually changed things for me. I stopped jumping into advanced tutorials just because they had more views or cooler thumbnail. I went back to the most basic explanation I could find, the kind where someone explains a loop or a variable like your 5-year-old. And honestly, that might feel embarrassing for the first 2 days because you feel behind. You feel like everyone else is out there building apps and you're stuck understanding what a loop actually is. But here's the truth, every single person who's good at coding right now started exactly where you are now. They just didn't skip that step. You're not behind, you are just at the step everyone conveniently forgets to mention in their journey. So rule 1, pick simple language first, pick a simple explanation video first. You can't build the second floor of a house because before the foundation is dry. Make your basics strong. Here's the second thing that you could do, and this one is more about momentum than skill. I decided that before college even starts, I'm going to give 2 hours every single day, not 6 hours on Sunday and then nothing for a week, because that's not consistency, that's a spike, and spikes fade. 2 hours every single day for coding, and 2 hours a day, holidays included, does something a spike never can. It builds a habit before the pressure even starts. So by the time actual classes and assignments begin, coding already feels like something you know, not something new you're scared of. And honestly, 2 hours isn't a scary number. Anyone can find 2 hours in their 24 hours of time. The point isn't the number of hours, it's that you show up every single day, even the days you don't feel like it. That's the whole game. Momentum isn't built in one long session, it's built in showing up again and again until it stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like routine. So have a fixed time and code. And talking about me and where I went wrong. Now, let me be honest about my journey because this is where it gets a little messy. And I started with web development and HTML, basic CSS, learned how a page is structured and how to make things look decent and the basics of styling. Felt good, felt like progress. And then I switched to app development. Started learning that different syntax, different way of thinking, and basically starting a chunk of it over again. And then somewhere in between, I ended up working on a AI vibe coded project where a lot of code is generated and guided by AI, and you're steering it more than typing every line. Different skill again, different muscle. So in a very short span, I touched 3 different worlds: web development, app development, and AI assisted building. Don't feel guilty, but don't repeat my mistake. Here's the thing, I don't feel guilty about switching paths from web dev to app dev and vibe coding, not even a little. Because even though I'm not perfect in any one of them, I now actually have an idea of how each one works. Web dev taught me structure, Dot taught me a different way of thinking about logic, and vibe coding taught me about how to guide and steer instead of just typing blindly and giving empty prompts. None of that was wasted. Every switch added something to how I think about building and making apps or building websites. But this is the important part. I don't want you to make the same mistake I did. Because switching between paths when you are just starting out for the very first time is not a good thing to do. To be clear, I already had some coding experience back in 9th, 8th, or 10th too. So I wasn't completely first timer when I switched. That's part of why it actually worked for me. When you're brand new and jumping from web dev to app and to something else every few weeks doesn't give you depth you actually need. It gives you a little bit of everything and strong grip on nothing. I got lucky that it still gave me some understanding. So if you're just starting, pick one path, stick with it long enough to actually get good at it and explore other parts later once you have the solid foundation or solid basics. So that's it. That's real no filter version of why this transition feels so hard and why what I am doing about it. Pick a simple language first, dedicate a fixed number of hours even on holidays, even when it's boring, and no guilt. Don't feel guilty when you see someone ahead of you making apps because you have no idea what their day one looked like. Look, I'm not going to pretend this is easy. Some days the code just won't run and you will want to close the laptop and never open it again. That's normal. That happens to literally everyone. It has happened to me also 2 years back. But here's what I do believe. If a formula solving numerical grinding JEE brain of viewers could handle 2 years of JEE preparation, it could absolutely handle this. You already have the discipline, you just have to channelize into somewhere new, and that is coding. So don't lose hope. This gets easier, not overnight, but it gets easier. And one day, the same code that feels like a foreign language today is going to feel like your second home. Stay consistent, and I'll keep sharing what's actually working for me. No filter, no sugarcoating. See you in the next one.